Chapter number 3A, demand analysis, is very important as far as possible the syllabus of the student is concerned. While understanding this chapter, there are various important bullet heads that are going to go in the slides for us to understand. The slide which is coming now, the upcoming slide describes about meaning and definition of demand. What is demand? Desire backed by willingness and ability to pay for a commodity. Here goes the definition of demand. Next slide, wherein describes about concepts of demand. And while understanding the topic concepts of demand, it becomes essentially very important for us to understand that there are two types of demands. Two concepts are found in the demand. We have individual demand and market demand. Now, individual demand is a demand of an individual consumer, and market demand is a demand of a various consumers found in a market. Now, this is the diagrammatic representation and the schedule given of individual demand, which is very important as far as possible syllabus is concerned. The next slide, which is upcoming slide, describes about market demand curve and the schedule which is given, which all the students should understand and study it properly. The next slide describes types of demand. While understanding types of demands, we should always keep one thing in mind, that concepts of demand and types of demand, these are the two different topics. Number one, direct demand. Number two, indirect demand. Number three, complementary joint demand, composite demand. Next slide describes about law of demand. While understanding the law of demand, it is essentially very important for students to know statement of the law, schedule, diagram, and its explanation, assumptions which are the important basis of the law of demand, and the criticisms which all the students should study and understand. Last but not the least, the slide goes telling about the slide describes about schedule and the diagram. Schedule and the diagrammatic representation of law of demand clearly gives us idea that the demand curve slopes downward from left to right. And here it is essentially very important for us to bring to your notice that demand curve slopes downward. Downward movement of the demand curve is because of various important effects like substitution effect, income effect, and diminishing returns, etc. Thank you, students.